everyone, I'm Steve Beckmen, and we're here today shooting our Q2 2017 Wine Club video. And as usual, we have some awesome wines for you this quarter, but before we get into that, we always like to get you caught up on what's happening in the vineyard and the winery. Today we're actually standing up here on Purisima Mountain. We're probably around 1050, almost 1100 feet. We're actually at the bottom of Block 6. It's springtime, and there is always a lot going on in the vineyard this time of the year. For me particularly, it's a bit of a challenging time of the year because it is frost season. We have all these beautiful, tender, young green shoots, and if we get some cold nights, I have this little alarm that goes off when it hits the temperature below 36 degrees where we can get ice formed. And it rings my cell phone, and I get up in the middle of the night and go turn on our frost protection. The sprinklers actually and water allow the air around the vine to stay warmer than what it naturally is. We have no frost protection up here. The wind moves, the air moves, and the cold air really settles down towards the bottom of the vineyard. So it's really the bottom part of the vineyard and the vineyard at the winery that I'm most concerned about for frost. The vineyard crew is really busy this time of the year as well. We've started the process of incorporating all that nutritious stuff that we talked about last quarter into the soils. This year, with all the rainfall, we're dealing with a lot of weeds, and since we don't use any herbicide on those weeds, that means that we have a lot of work to do. So we have a couple different ways that we deal with the weeds here. One is with our tractor. We have this really cool implement that works underneath the vines. It's kind of like a knife that goes just under the surface of the soil and cuts the weeds down. But we do have some areas where we have a lot of young vines where our tractor implement might damage those young vines. And then we also have some areas where we have some really tight spacing now, and the blade or knife does not work so well in that tight spacing. So in addition to the blading, we're doing some hand hoeing. And all that stuff is being done right now, and hopefully, I'm hopeful that it's going to be done in the next couple weeks. The vines are starting to grow, and we have to get into our canopy management, which is going to be going on all throughout the season. The first thing, and one of the most important things that we do every year, is shoot thinning. In some areas, like our head train Grenache blocks, that's really the main pass that we'll do on canopy management in those vineyards all year. And what shoot thinning is basically removing all the unwanted sucker shoots and excess shoots that you do not want on your vine. Basically, we want to just leave the shoots that have the fruit on them for this year's harvest. And something that I think is really cool just in general about our philosophy of farming out here is that we kind of look at every plant as an individual, because each plant doesn't grow the same. So they need to kind of change their approach or their look and really allow the vine to naturally grow and express itself. So we try to have them keep that in their mind when they're going through and making this really important shoot thinning pass. All of these shoots at some point are going to need to be tucked into the trellis, where we use this vertical shoot position trellis system. Basically, it's like a hedge for the vines, where we actually position each of the shoots through these pairs of wires. In addition to that, we're also doing a little bit of biodynamic sprays. This is the time of the year where we're finishing up our 500 spray, which is our manure compost that we use in the springtime. And we're also going to start this year to use some nettle sprays, which is something that we use typically on wetter years. And yes, we had a much wetter year this year than the past several. Some of the vines can struggle a little bit with picking up the nutrients that they need, and the nettle just really allows them to take up what's readily available around them. There's also a lot of things going on in the winery this time of the year. We continue to bottle a lot of our 2016 white wines and our 2015 red wines, which are all looking exciting, and in fact, you're getting some of those this release. We are making sure our malolactic fermentations are finished, which a lot of them are, and going through the process now to do a lot of our pre-blending trials, where we're taking samples of all of our different lots and blocks, which could be anywhere from, let's say, 1 barrel, 2 barrels, to as much as maybe 14 to 20 barrels, and starting to do our assemblage, our blends for all of our different wines. In fact, in the last week, I just started working on our San Ynez Valley Cabernet Sauvignon and our Estate Cabernet Sauvignon, and most importantly, the TLB wine, which, as you know, is quite important to the family. Again, we have 4 incredible wines for you this quarter. And if you haven't been up to the winery recently and visited the tasting room, we have this really cool new deck and bar that you all should come and check out. We're looking forward to a really great 2017 vintage. We'll see you soon.